Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so here we go. Let's jump on in. This is going to be a signs and symbols message. We'll see where this one takes us. We have geometry and we have the 10 of fire. Okay, so we've got somebody feeling pretty highly pressurized, right? And these two are like back to back. So I think that we may have two people that are both working on. She's got a lot of moving parts. She may be multitasking to the nth degree, and her mind could be constantly churning and turning about what she needs to do, scheduling things, trying to keep up, trying to put things in order so she can attend to everything. I'm picturing somebody who's, I mean, she could also like work in like a scheduling or HR department or something where she's responsible for attending to like many people's needs, or she is of great assistance to many people. But it appears that she is somebody who like makes plans, puts things in order, and then ticks them off one after another after another after another, just all these little tasks that have to be accomplished. She just says, okay, that can get slated here, that can get slated here, and she just fills in the schedule. But I feel like she's many things to many different people. Her name could start with a G. I'm thinking like Gianna or something. I know it says geometry, but I just the maybe she likes geometry, but I'm picturing that she is somebody who has like a, I don't know, even her background could be like multicultural, multi-influential. She may have like, maybe she's not even just bilingual, maybe she's like tri or multilingual. She may have to be the go-between or be the mediator between different people or translate, multiple directions back and forth. The fact that we have this masculine and he's got a lot on his plate too, but his is like this daily grind, daily grind, daily grind. And he's always feeling the pressure of somebody who says, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. What I feel like we have is two people, both of whom are working very hard. Neither of them has a whole lot of breathing space. They don't have a lot of free time. They both have to stay on the grind, but hers maybe comes with the illusion of having a little bit more freedom because she's, putting like pieces of a puzzle together, even though this is what she has to do. And she's multitasking and she has a lot of people she cares for. He's over here feeling like there is one person pressuring him, like a boss or a, I'll say energy force. And I just say it that way because I don't know if this is like the force of guilt or the force of, sometimes we put pressure on ourselves, right? To be, someone who excels a great, this great, extensive, I got to make this much money and I got to make it as fast as I can. And it's just us putting the thumb on the back of our neck here. Other times it literally is we're working for somebody else and they're just grinding us into dust. We've got a 3 of Wands and we have Venus. Here's the thing. These two people that are, I'm hearing Tommy used to work on the docks. So bring home his pay for love. You got to live it on a prayer. That might be an appropriate song here. They're both hardworking and they are going to they're going to try to make this work because it's worth it for love. If they're trying to save money to buy a house with this 3 of Wands, we're working hard for a better future and we're working hard for the future so we can have the love and this could be what gives them both the sustenance to keep going, even though admittedly this looks like two people in some pretty unpleasant circumstances. I feel like they think about each other an awful lot during the day. I feel like they're two people cut from the same cloth. They both care about the same things. They both care. They're both big-hearted. They're both very hard workers. And it is all about someday it's going to get better, but it's also worth it for love. We have the Sagittarius card and we have this person like busting. I don't know if this is like, perhaps the two of them knowing that the other one exists, they don't realize this, but it's like, you are the thing I look forward to coming home each day to. Like, I mean, work kind of is overwhelming. Adulting is overwhelming, but oh my God. I'm hearing that song, My Baby Takes the 9 to 5, or my baby works the 9 to 5. Then he comes back home again to find me waiting for him. Sorry, I can't think who sings that song. It's a feminine's voice, 1980s song. This just feels like, hi, honey, I'm home. I can't wait to get home. And this is the Archer. Like, I feel like he makes a beeline home for her, or that his mind makes a beeline to her. And I think this is also her, like, so in love. She's meeting him at the door. Now, this could be an idealized vision. Maybe this is two people that don't have somebody in their life, and they both work really hard, and they're both thinking, God, you know what I'd love? You know what would make this more bearable is to have a great love, to have somebody to come home to. I don't know yet if they're actually together, or if, look, they'd be a great match because they have such similar qualities, right? But are they actually making each other's lives brighter, or are these two people that would love to meet someone who would maybe make their life brighter? We have music, which would speak of, great harmony. But nobody's at the piano. We have the same backdrop as we had for her on the geometry. Since we have no singer, and we have no pianist, even though we have the bust here, but obviously the bust cannot sing, and a piano with no one to play it it's potential for music, but there isn't music. I'm going to say these two actually have not met. By the way, somebody could either go to like a pub or go have a drink after work or something where there is a piano. Could be a piano that is not played very frequently. It could be like only on like one night a week, and then this feels very much like old style saloon, but I'm picturing somebody who sings like, the kinds of songs that people know and sing together, in the pub. I'm picturing The Piano Man by Billy Joel. I'm picturing, like people swaying with their mugs of grog. But it feels as if these two haven't met yet in this storyline. They'd like to have this. They'd like to have, God, it would really alleviate some of the grind to have somebody wonderful to come home to have somebody that can't wait to see me and that I can't wait to see. It's like they're both wishing for something to motivate them, because in truth, we're all working for a better future. But at the same time, it's like, but to have another person to share that future with. Also, I think these two could go a lot further together if they could lean on each other. We have a 5 of Swords here, and we have the Justice card. Oh, whoa. I might have just misspoken. I said, okay, so they don't know each other. I didn't even think that they already knew each other and that something went horribly awry. That once upon a time, they were good together. Once upon a time, they did play music together. Once upon a time, they were a perfect harmony. And then obviously, something did not work out. God, they both remember those sweeter days, though, don't they? Because all this is like, God, what we could have had. Life is a struggle, but I could have been rushing home to you, and I would have given anything to rush home and see you waiting at the door for me, or, have you walk in 3 minutes behind me when you get off your shift. And, we could have been talking about the future, and it would have been worthy of the amount of effort and work that we do to try to scrape money together, because we'd be dreaming and planning together. And once upon a time we had that. How do we let that slip away? And this is the answer. There's been so much silence, and I feel like he's sat down to try to write to her, but he keeps writing, I have nothing to say. He may have 5 times tried to reach out, but never got to the point of sending a text, sending a message, calling. He may have punched in her phone number and then been like, what am I going to say to her? She's over here swinging back and forth also on the swing of, justice or injustice. Like, seriously, this is, I don't know what to do. This pendulum back and forth and back and forth. Nothing feels, it feels like two people feel like they missed out on something, and their lives have been very, very busy since then. And they both think about all the time, about what it could have been. Some of the signs and symbols could be literally like someone could have a half written text in their phone, how it'll save as a draft. Well, that could be our masculine. Somebody could work in an industry where they either have like, I don't know if they work on like major equipment, or there's like a turbine or something that is like, this feels like engine related stuff, whether he's, someone who works in transport, or whether he's somebody like a mechanic or something. But it could be like jet engines, it could be, big wind turbines, it could be all kinds of different like heavy equipment stuff. I would just say his work is heavy on his mind. Let's put it that way. She, as we already mentioned, I feel like she has like calendars and dates and times and things that she has to do at certain times. I feel like she has more, it's not about just the function, it's that her function is to keep things like, in order, in alignment, do things on time. They both have, she may live in a mountainous region, so mountains and lakes could be somewhere around her. It could be a cloudy day right now for her as well. But I keep thinking that the piano draws me in a lot. The keys, or I don't know, specifically flat, the flats. I'm wondering if it's because this relationship fell flat, if that's what I'm really seeing here. Songs by UB40 are trying to bust into my head right now also. Not just like Red Wine, although that's, probably arguably one of their most famous. But there's a great song by them called Please Don't Make Me Cry. And that's the song that's actually in my head. And specifically the part where it says, and when I wake up in the morning, you are gone. This feels, and Legos also, or some kind of stackable toys. I don't know if somebody has a child and it's blocks or toys of a child. Those are other symbols that are really standing out to me, and arched doorways. But when it comes to this problem, this, God, what we could have had, but we don't have it, it feels really unfair to her. But he's over here saying, I have nothing to say. Intellect, I don't know if he's getting caught in his head and he's like, anything I say, I'm not gonna be able to talk to her at the level she wants me to. Why do you think that there's nothing that you can say to her because she's too intelligent for you? That doesn't make any sense. The Selkie, it's almost like she has, in his mind, she may have a duality to her. She may have something that he can't keep up with her somehow. The Selkie, in mythology, Selkies are these seals that can shed their seal skin and become these gorgeous women and come up on land and live mortal lives, but usually they always return to the sea at some point and put back on their seal skin. And there's just something here about either she twists his words, or there's always a double meaning that he didn't think of, and then whatever he's saying, it doesn't come out right. So instead he's just like, I there's no way I can even say anything to her. Well, that kind of sounds like pointing fingers and blaming her. She won't get what I say anyway. She'll twist it. But on the other hand, he's saying she's so smart. She'll read between the lines and she'll find something that I didn't even realize that's the other way you can interpret what I just said. And maybe she does hit the nail on the head with something that I just said. And maybe she points out more of what I was saying than what I realized I was saying. There's something here about every time he tries to write to her, and he has tried multiple times, he kind of like defeats himself by saying, with her brain, she will read into this something that I didn't even see. She'll see something completely different, and I think she's, in his mind, she's unpredictable. I don't know if she's gonna want to be around me anyway, or will she slip into her seal skin and swim away? On her part, we have that justice card. So we have Libra, but then we also have the Librarian, which in this card, they're basically making it synonymous with the Hierophant. It's card 5, so it's Taurus energy. For her, she says it's so unfair because no matter what, I try to understand from my higher perspective, but it almost seems like as much as she seeks understanding about this, it's always elusive. She just thinks it's really unfair that either that she met somebody, but then whatever happened here, which I don't know what happened yet. We'll ask that in a second. But whatever happened here just kind of went to hell in a handbasket. And I think she thinks it's unfair that she continuously pours over this what the hell happened kind of thing. She got her little, monocle here, her looking glass, and it's like she studies this and still doesn't really have answers, although her higher self should be able to help her find an answer. She's like, but it's unfair that it still just feels wrong somehow. Okay, can we just see what on earth happened? We have the Phoenix in the reverse. Okay, these two had an opportunity to get this thing back on track, and instead it epically collapsed. Is this why he says, there's nothing I can possibly say to her that she won't take wrong? 7 of Cups. Okay, they are both drama queens. Sorry to say it, but this is, look, I think both of these characters do really love each other, but they're also, admittedly, they both have a ton of responsibilities. They have a ton of pressure on one another, and they both have this romantic idea of, oh my God, how great it would be to have somebody who couldn't wait to see me and I can't wait to see them. And I almost wonder if that's why, if anything got even a little bit funky, I think they were very quick to have their hearts hurt. And they both contributed to this, because with that 7 of Cups, it's like it was a drama that neither one of them ever was able to figure out how come this all fell apart. And this is because drama, because they wanted it so much, and yet they were both, feeling kind of fragile about it. And instead of like finding a way to like really listen to the other one, they might have gotten their feelings hurt really swiftly, been stunned, like both of them, I think, were kind of fragile and got hurt really easily. And particularly when maybe they were going to try to reconnect somehow, and instead it was an epic flop. And I don't think either one of them has quite moved on from this at all. Yeah, we have the King's energy, where it's like trying to instead put on the stiff upper lip, trying to, manage this. But we have the Soldier of Air. We have the Mayor of Fire. Look, a lot of this is left on the divine masculine side in this story, where it appears that he has got like a lot more that he thinks about with this. He's, as much as he's like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, I almost think he's going to impulsively go ahead and say something anyway, even if it's to blurt out, what he feels, because this is like dynamite. Like, this is just, he's tried to move on. He's in front of like the wheel of the ship, but I don't think it's been working very well for him to move on from this. I feel like, in fact, thoughts of her gotten heavier and heavier. It's weighing him down more and more. I feel like she's thought more and more, this is so unfair. I don't even understand what the hell happened. I do think that their communication skills have sucked in this. And I think that's the number one thing that has to be sorted out between the two of them. But he might be coming to the same conclusion, because he's like, I think in his mind, he's trying to own whatever component of this he had. And then also to take action for what he actually wants, which is, look, he was so passionate about her, still is. She's the one he still wants to come home to. I don't think he can keep it quiet too much longer. I mean, it's been really tough. He's keeping on this gas mask, for goodness sakes, and he's impulsively just about to rip it off and just go ahead and send something that could be quite explosive. It could be quite loving, and it could be quite warm. And I think it's going to be very true, because holding this in isn't working. Saying anything I say she won't get. The one thing though, how do you mess up if you're just going to say, I freaking love you and I miss you and I think about you all the time? Okay, there's nothing more to look into on that statement. That's just a straightforward, this is what's on my heart. This is the dynamite that I have to just like, get out of my chest, which is how my heart really feels. I feel like he's about to just go ahead and say it, but it's going to be very impulsive, and it's a message that's just like, blah, just blurt it out. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.